All right. Well, Christy, thanks for joining. And I'll let you go ahead and just introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself, and we can talk about our topic and kind of just take it from there.
Yeah, sure. This is so fun. I'm so glad you all invited us and put this together. I think it's great timing. I'm Christy Fickert, Vice President of Enterprise Growth here at RealLink. We are a multifamily video platform, and we basically do it all. So if you are LinkedIn Live today, we do that for multifamily professionals. We, host virtual tours, remote tours, and just make it really easy to create content. So this little hiccup that you can see when we are, trying to go live and testing out new technology, we try to make that really easy for on-site teams.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks, Christy, for joining. My name is Andrew Cederland. I'm the president and COO here at Conversion Logics. And what we do is we're a digital marketing agency, and we're also a software company. We built lead gen tools. We have a appointments tour scheduler, a concession manager, offer manager, and a chat bot, and kind of, the floating widgets that you see on websites to drive conversions. We have our version of that, and then try to drive the best quality traffic through digital marketing through those systems to get more leads, ultimately, is what we're all about. And so we have a partnership with RealLink where you can deploy your RealLink videos through the Conversion Cloud for virtual tours and see the analytics of who's watching. And we found that it works really well together. And video is just something that I was thinking about it earlier, like, why do we see video everywhere? And I think the biggest thing is the technology increases, the technology, getting to the point where video is easy to transmit across the internet, and so I think there's a lot of tech that goes into just you seeing these little moving images all over the place as you scroll around. There's a lot of bandwidth, a lot of technology behind that, and it's led to this huge proliferation of video. So today we're going to be talking about 5 video marketing trends that you can't ignore in 2023. And then at the very end, we're going to give you 7 tips that came from AI. And so there's a new AI tool that is called Chat GPT, where you can type in questions and the AI will answer you. So we'll rank them and see how well they did on that once we go through our tips. So stick around for that at the end. So let's start off with tip number 1, which is show, don't tell. So Christy, what do you think about this one?
Oh, obviously, I'm a big fan of video, and I was before I ever got to RealLink. I'm really excited that more people are embracing this, because I feel like I was embracing it before it was cool, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And people looked at me like I was crazy. And here we are. So I think that, it allows you to immerse not just the renter, but I use video with our own team. We record videos for each other. If you can type it, basically you should try recording it instead. One, it saves you time. It's so much easier to record a video than it is to type out a whole paragraph. So when we think about just all of the things that we do in our day-to-day where we're typing or we're writing, it's easier to show, and people retain that a lot better too. There's been a lot of research on this, and there's a Forbes article, and there are some other places that have backed up this too, but people basically retain 90 to 95% of what comes across on video versus only about 10% with anything that's written. So, the example that I give a lot when I'm giving presentations is, if you work on site and you were tired of residents asking you the same question over and over again, you should try showing instead of telling with video.
Totally. Yeah, I think, the adage is what a video or a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'd say a video is worth 10,000, right? And I think, when you talk about video, it's anything and everything you can think of. And I think that, like you said, it's on-site, amenities. It's, hey, my residents keep asking me this thing. And I actually find that, we use a tool, this is even just in the office, we use a tool called Loom to record, quick little videos, screen share videos, and send them to each other, because sometimes you're like, man, I really just don't want to keep typing this out. And I think that, showing is just so much more powerful, and we have these amazing technology available to do that. And it's going to just continue. And I think it's great.
Yeah, it does. And I think the other thing there is it invokes more of the senses, where, maybe not smell necessarily. You could describe that,
I hope not.
but it's pulling in more of those senses that you don't get when you're just strictly telling about something. So I think that we have a unique opportunity because video is much more accessible these days. You know, if I think about when I was growing up, or even when I first started in multifamily, we still had, you know, everything was analog. We wrote work orders. We didn't even type those into a computer at that point in time. I'm showing my age here, but it's so accessible now that we don't even have to hire professional videographers if we don't want to. Certainly, you know, there's a piece of your marketing stack that might need something like that, but everyone has it, you know, in your pocket. I'm picking up my phone here because everyone has one of these devices. And so it's so much easier for you to show, and you don't have, it doesn't have to be something that's completely overly produced. People want to hear what you have to say.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that, you know, that's a great segue into point number 2, which, man, I can't believe that was so perfect. How did you know this was coming? Authentic video, engaging prospects. And this is something that I think authentic video is great. And it's something that you've seen, you know, with the rise of influencer marketing, where, you know, you see people don't want to see the best version of something because they know that there's so much that goes in behind the scenes. And we've all seen those pictures of what the McDonald's burger actually looks like versus the real McDonald's burger, or, you know, the marketing one. And I think that the same thing happens with anything that we look at. We want to see that what am I really getting into? And I think, you know, when I think of, you know, photography and videography on a property, you know, you don't want that fisheye, distorted, super wide angle. Oh my gosh, this apartment is huge. I can't believe how big this is. Then you get in there and it's a shoebox, and, you know, then you feel, you know, like, oh, I just wasted time, because had I known, maybe I wouldn't have done that, which is probably why they're doing that. And the other thing I think about authentic video is it makes it more accessible for on-site teams and for people that don't feel like, man, I'm not an actor, I'm not an actress, I'm just a person working here. I'm trying to, you know, I want to do my job well, but we all know how to take video, use an iPhone. And I think that with all these tools, there's great ways to get video in front of people, and not that you want to lower the bar and make it subpar, but you want it to be real, so that way people can get a true sense of what a property looks like.
Oh yeah. And then, you know, there's a great example I give all the time. There's a leasing agent, his name is Craig, and he works for Praxum Management, and he has this video walkthrough, but he's in it. It's of a unit. And instead of what most of us do is we take out our camera and we film a unit, and that's what goes on our websites, or that's what we maybe send as follow-up or to someone who's trying to tour remotely. But Craig is physically in the video. And that's the only difference but now you see the human, and you see Craig who works there on the property, and it builds that trust and the rapport. But I think there's also a missed opportunity here, and it's something I would love to see more of in 2023, but it's these behind the scenes shots. I would love, gosh, properties and multifamily operators have such an opportunity to really give renters this sneak peek of, you know, what's behind the scenes. And an example I love to share there is, we put a lot of time and spend a lot of money getting apartments ready for that next renter. But the everyday renter, they don't always necessarily know all of these great things that we do to make sure that unit is in tip-top shape. You might not see this if you rented from, you know, smaller landlords. And, you know, we know that not everyone kind of follows this protocol, but in the industry where we are, and we've got, you know, these big operators who you really pay attention to your turn and you inspect your units. It's, you know, do they know that we professionally clean the carpet every time? Do they know that we always give a new paint job? Do they know that we have housekeepers who come in or cleaning, that it gets a professional cleaning and even sanitized now, because, you know, that was something that came out from the pandemic, but we don't talk about that a lot in our marketing. But if we did and a competitor wasn't, I really feel as a renter, that would be a little more compelling. You know, when I rent an Airbnb and I see, you know, when someone lists the checklist of everything that gets cleaned, you know, when they do that turn, that's a selling point for me. It's not necessarily what I ask as the person who's renting, but once I see it and know about it, it definitely sways me in that direction.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think that's a great example. One thing that this actually came up, I was at a conference last week. One thing about authentic video, you know, I was talking about, you know, some trends for 23, and somebody came up to me afterwards and they're like, well, I take the pictures and everything, but I feel like they look dark, they look dingy, whatever. And they're like, should I invest in some lights and then, maybe some things? And I was like, absolutely, because authentic doesn't necessarily mean
poor quality.
Poor quality. Yeah. I was like, how do I say this nicely? It doesn't mean a bad video. But as my wife would say, guys say, oh, oh, I like you without makeup. And she's like, no, you don't actually like me without makeup. You like me with makeup that makes it look like I don't have any makeup on.
Yes.
And I feel like authentic video is the same way. It's like, oh, we love this authenticity. And I think that does make the barrier to entry lower because, there is this desire for the authenticity and getting people on site. You don't need to have the paid actors necessarily coming in and, cheersing on the roof or whatever. Though you might have that for a different reason, but making sure that follow all the rules of good lighting and good framing, doing the basics, but it's authentic. You still want it to present well. So
one other point there too is thinking about we probably have features and benefits of living in apartment communities that don't make our marketing list, that don't make the list of features on the website. And, one example of this is I was on vacation over the summer. We were booking an Airbnb in Destin, Florida for a baseball tournament. And, I narrowed down my options and I had these 2 different condos that I was looking to book. And, they were checking all of the boxes, do they have a pool? Are they beachfront? All of the things. And we got there. So we picked one. It was pretty evenly matched between these 2. So I picked one. Our family goes and stays. And by about the 3rd day, my husband said, hey, wait a minute. I just saw a sign that says they sell bags of ice at the front desk. And so he goes and checks into it and they do. And they're cheaper and the same size as what we've been driving to the gas station on the corner every day to buy ice for our coolers to go to the beach. And obviously we were there for a baseball tournament, so we've got to fill coolers for that. And this is something that was not advertised on their website or in the listings at all, but yet it was so convenient. And if you're going to the beach, this is something that you're packing your coolers every day. So that, the ice maker in the kitchen doesn't really fulfill that need. And it's something that they didn't really think about and hadn't put in their marketing, but again, would have been a really nice feature that I didn't necessarily know I needed. But once I got there and was experiencing the functionality of the resort or of the room, the same way someone would in the apartments. So thinking through those kinds of things that we can show off, that's something that you could really create some video content around, would be those things that are functional. They might not be the sexy features of the community to talk about, but something that's worth showing off because it really could convert someone in their decision-making process.
Totally, 100%. Should we move on to number 3? Repurposing video assets to extend your budget. And so this is one that we love at ConversionLogix, just because again, it's not about having, I got to go pay for my professional shoot and do all of these things in order to make a YouTube video, in order to do a connected TV ad. And one thing that we love doing is taking and slicing and dicing up these tours and putting them in a social ad, putting them in a YouTube ad, and really, leveraging the content that you're creating on site with your team, as well as, whatever other videos you may have, and really putting that across all of your marketing channels as much as you can in banners and YouTube. And so this is, it's just an easy win, honestly. It doesn't cost you any extra budget, any extra time to go through it. If you are engaging in video as a core strategy of what you do on your property, it's easy to make sure that all the video that you are creating, even, behind the scenes, whatever it might be, you can then try that in an ad and see how it performs. You can go, leverage it in your, any sort of visual media you have. And so this is something that we've seen really work really well on marketing campaigns because, let's face it, what's going to catch your eye as you're scrolling down your feed or looking through stories or whatever it is, and a static photo or a video, and
Right.
Video outperforms in a big way. So we always recommend that as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. And I think that's an opportunity too in 2023 for marketers, is to One, if you don't have the video content, you have to start getting it. I mean, even apartments.com, they announced the listing of the future at NAA, this past NAA in June, and, talked about it again at OpTech, but that unit level content they're not the only ones who are going to be doing it. Everyone's kind of following suit there. So you're going to have to get this content created. If you don't start now, you're already a little behind, but you've got to have a plan for that. But the other piece of it, and what I see a lot, I talked to 3 different digital marketing agencies last week. They all have mutual clients with RealLink. And we, on behalf of clients, I'm usually helping them kind of bridge the gap between, hey, you have this video content, and then here, how can we use this and repurpose it in your marketing funnel? And out of all 3 of those digital agencies that I talked to, what they want to do video ads on behalf of their clients, but the clients don't always have the content to give to them. And so what ends up happening is that agency has to create basically a slideshow of photos with some video effects. And those are photos that are already on the website and that renter has probably already seen in your ads or online somewhere else. So when you've got video that is actual video and it's not a slideshow that's created, it performs much better. And that tour that I was talking about, Craig from Praxum, the leasing agent from Praxum, who he does that apartment walkthrough and he's actually in the unit, that is actually getting that client who's using that. And then the agency who's managing their ads, they're running some video ads for retargeting, and it's getting a 352% ROI. They just took a video that he already has, and he's using that for tours. He's using that for follow-ups to prospects, but now their agency has repurposed that, and that's the ROI that they're getting. It's their best performing ad, actually. And they didn't have to create new content for that. So, it's, use what you have and just make it, you've got to scale. It just scales so nicely.
100%. Yeah, no, I love that story. And yeah, like I said, it's something we love to do is take what you got, slice it, dice it, do whatever you need to do, stick it as many places as you can, because we know it works well. Should we talk about, why are we doing all this video stuff anyway? What's the whole point of all of this? And it's really, we want to accelerate the sales process, or this is one thing that we can do with this. Christy, you want to start on that one?
Yeah, I mean, video, it doesn't have to necessarily replace in-person tours. There are so many other ways that you can use this, like we just talked about with the ad examples, with website examples, with telling your story, with your brand, and just getting people more connected, but it does save time. So if you're going to use video, in my opinion, you need to be using it across every part of your organization to just get that ROI out of it, but also why not? And where it saves a lot of time is the average video tour. If you give people the option to connect over video, that lasts about 15 minutes, whereas the traditional in-person tour lasts 45 to 60 minutes. So even if not all of your tours or your traffic are taken in person, or by video, you're at least saving some time there. It's basically a 3-to-1. You can take 3 times as many tours in the same amount of time. I know we have staffing issues in the industry. So if you're going to invest, at the top of this funnel and create video content, and you're going to have your partners managing ads that have video content, and you're driving all of that traffic to your website and getting people to convert to tour, you may as well give them an option to tour in a way that they prefer. And at the same time, you're solving some of those staffing issues too.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think it's about meeting people where they're at. Certain people are they're going to come on site no matter what, right? They want to see it. They want to, whatever, dig their fingers into the carpet and be like, oh, do I like this or not? And others are fine, looking at, a self-guided tour or even a live video tour. I think one thing that one of the new studies that came out from Zillow was talking about how fewer people are physically going to fewer communities before making a decision. And so I think the stat was 2, the average person goes to 2 different communities instead of, it used to be 5. And for us as a company, we work in the automotive space. And this is something we saw 10 years ago or so in automotive, where people were going to 4 dealerships, and all of a sudden it dropped to 1.4. And I'm sure now it's 1.1. But and so we're seeing the same thing play out in multifamily, and it's really about these tools and all of these, it's the 360 walkthroughs, it's the video walkthroughs that you're doing with the person, and all these different ways that you can really get a sense and a feel for what is this community and property like. And the more we can do that and meet people, depending on their type of conversion that they want to do, and making that as easy as possible, they're going to have a better experience. We're going to have a better experience. The people that are coming on site are going to be better qualified because they actually want to be there versus having to be there. And so hopefully the close rate goes up on those people as well. And so, I think that the more tools that you can use throughout the process, throughout the sales process, is going to help, help you better meet prospects' needs.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that renters are pretty savvy, and they have been for a while. Sometimes it's been a minute since I worked on site, but sometimes they would come in and they knew more about the property than I did because so much information is available online. But I also think they are very savvy as to what's been going on with our market and the cycles. And just, we've had incredibly high occupancies the last few years. As you know, rents are really high. We've seen double-digit rent increases, and renters have caught on to that. And so it's really similar to home buying right now, where, if you don't buy the house, put the offer in, the minute it's on the market, it's gone. Someone else gets it. And that's really what's been happening in our market a lot too. They know availability is low. And so they're more willing to also connect over video and remotely because they can't physically get there in person, let's say until tonight after 5 when they get off work, but they know that someone else is likely going to take that unit before they get off work and can get there, because we have such low vacancy rates right now. So that's also driving this. And, you could be, again, locking out renters that are more ideal customer profiles, or, just people who they want to live there, but they can't get there and be the next person to it.
Yeah, no, totally. What do you think about video as an experiment? This is tip number 5, is experimenting with video.
Oh, everyone should be doing it. So many people are afraid of this. We are experimenting today on LinkedIn.
100%. And we kind of failed at the beginning, but it's okay. We're here.
But we learned, and now we know the next time, and we're more comfortable doing that. Video is something you have to do it, and you have to do it often to get comfortable with it. I actually just recorded a segment yesterday about getting comfortable on camera. That's experimentation. That is being vulnerable, but nothing good ever came to me when I wasn't being vulnerable. I mean, that's where all the good stuff happens. So I'd say you definitely need to test whether that is you personally or with your teams or with a specific portfolio or property, and A/B test what works. So, maybe we're doing LinkedIn Live today. Maybe, we go live somewhere else and try something else the next time and see, where do we get more viewers or what resonates better with the audience?
Yeah, I think that the A/B testing is huge, and digging into the analytics is always going to be the best way to find out what's actually working. Because one of the things that I've realized after being in this industry for so long is what I think is going to work. Sometimes it's right, but oftentimes it's way wrong. And so I think that when we're talking about leveraging video in some of these ads, there was a A/B test a few weeks ago that I saw where I looked at both of the ads, and I liked one way better than the other. And it was it was more authentic, and it was there was 2 videos. One was a highly produced, one was more authentic, whatever. And I, at the first glance, I was like, oh, this is a great video. It shows the property, all this stuff. And the one that was the authentic kind of, it was pretty quick. I was like, I would actually put this video as a little bit too authentic personally, and it crushed it. And it was like 2-to-1 as far as like goal conversion rate on the website and click-through rate on the ad itself. And so that's the importance of A/B testing. And I think, Christy, you brought up a great example before of showing things that are different and unique. I think that when you look at a lot of Class A properties, they all kind of run together in some form or fashion. People are competing on specific amenities. Everyone's pretty much pet friendly at this point. There's a cool, usually a cool common area, and that's great. But what separates you? What's unique about your property, and playing with those ideas? It's being able to put that out in your ads is actually a great way to test and see, what does the market actually care about this? Does this resonate with people? And you can kind of, push that message out. Oh, people don't necessarily seem to care about this. Okay, let's try this messaging. And it's just so much easier to try those things out, and then again look at analytics, see what's working, see what calls to action are working best on your website for the virtual tour. What do people want to look at? And so yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add on this one?
I was just going to say with analytics, I mean, I'm in marketing because I don't like math, but I do love marketing math. And that's my favorite, the favorite kind of numbers, to crunch is looking at that. But in the industry, what has been missing a lot of times is data. There are gaps in data with video. Now you can track that in your ads, but when you're doing virtual tours, or you're meeting one-on-one with people, or if you're sending a follow-up video, that video that I keep referencing about Craig, when he sends that to a prospect, can you see when that prospect views that video? Can you see what the engagement is with that specific prospect? Not just general data as in, we have 47 people on this live right now,
Right.
We want as much granular data as possible. And so if you don't have that with the video tools that you're using today, then just reassess that and see where you can build in more data to bridge those gaps.
Yeah, love it. Should we go to our AI generated?
Yes, I'm so interested. Right. Yes, I want to know what AI says versus what the humans say.
I literally just looked at this 10 minutes before we hopped on here. So Christy has not, I think I'm going to give you, maybe you can do a thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down, and we can kind of go from there. So tip number 1 is keep it short and sweet. It says, people have short attention spans, so it's important to keep your videos concise and to the point. What do you rate that one?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give that one a thumbs up from the AI. All right. Use compelling visuals. High quality visuals can grab people's attention and make them more likely to watch your video.
I'm sideways. I think it depends on the video and where you're going to use that. Obviously, if you're going to use it in advertising or somewhere, you might want to have some better visuals. But if you're just, again, being authentic and vulnerable and you're in the moment and need to communicate out about something, people need to hear what you have to say. They don't necessarily need to see the great background that you have or whatnot.
100%. I would say I agree. I think this one's a thumb sideways. Of course, you want to use visuals when it matters, but I think that, again, the authentic content that comes through with the high quality authentic content is always gonna win out. Number 3, tell a story. People are more likely to engage with a video that tells a compelling story. Consider using a narrative structure to grab people's attention and keep them engaged.
Yeah, thumbs up.
I give that one a thumbs up. That's like when you watch those, actually I did it at the very beginning of this video. I said, hey, wait around to the end if you want to hear the AI tips. So there you go. I told a little mini story to hopefully hook you in.
Yes.
Add a call to action. Your video should always include a clear call to action telling people what you want them to do after watching the video.
Yes. Thumbs up all the way. I mean, that's the goal. Like you're going to put in all this effort and then there's no next thing to do. You have to tell them what you want them to do because they don't always know.
Yeah. And I think that this is something that I think this is a bonus tip, I guess, or on top of this one is that think through what's your end game and what's your end goal when doing any of this. And it's, of course, you want prospects to feel a certain way about your property or community, but ultimately you're trying to lease this building, right? And I think that keeping that in the back of your head will hopefully help you navigate what's the best place to put my effort. Should I spend time trying to go viral on TikTok? Probably not, because the chances of you doing that are very, very low. And that time is better spent putting together maybe a high quality tour that then you can leverage out in the marketing that you're currently doing. And you can leverage it in the advertising side of TikTok. That's what I would do. And so, yeah, what are you actually trying to do? And what are you trying to get the prospect to do?
Could not agree more.
Optimize for mobile. More and more people are watching videos on their smartphones, so it's important to optimize your videos for mobile viewing.
I feel like this was, 2010 or something.
Yeah, their data set, I think, is a little, maybe it's a little old. This is another one that I'll put in that category is social media. Social media platforms are a great way to promote your videos and get them in front of a larger audience.
Oh, for sure. They are, I think it's, the stat is it's about 1,200% more likely to be shared when you're sharing video and native video. I'll add that. It needs to be native video, not just sharing links to a video that's on YouTube or something. So when you're sharing social, should use the native video whenever you can, but it will get you more eyeballs on your video.
Yeah. And I think, going back to the ad piece, this is how you can hack, I call it hacking the algorithm. Ultimately, the algorithm's going to share your content a certain amount, but then at some point they say, okay, you got to pay
Okay.
if you want to play.
Yep.
Right. And
Yep.
so, using these social media, like I mentioned, TikTok, it's better off to film a video and then leverage TikTok as an audience, platform than it is to try to go viral on TikTok, because this is not going to happen. There's too much other entertaining stuff there for people to watch.
Right.
And then the last but not least is invest in video SEO. Just like with written content, it's important to optimize your videos for search engines. So
such an easy,
yes,
they rank video higher naturally. It's naturally going to help you. And again, that's another place that you can easily save in your marketing spend. When you think about all of those tools in your marketing stack, everyone, for the most part, is paying or, working on some sort of SEO maintenance plan. So video absolutely needs to be a part of that.
Yep. Cool. I'll give the AI an A-, I think, on their tips. I don't know what you say.
Not bad.
Yeah,
I can't wait to look into that. Yeah, that's something new. I did not know about that, but that's what I love about LinkedIn. We learn something new every day.
There you go. We're LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn Learning all at once. All right. Well, with that, Christy, thank you so much for joining me today. And this was a lot of fun. And hopefully we can do another one of these in the future. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It was great to do this, and we'll keep experimenting.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.